continue today. We want to do a Yalkut Yosef in Simon Peitet, in Halacha, in Otet, Yud and Yud Aleph. Bezrat Hashem, if we do get a chance, I just want to show you the importance of what it means to daven Shomrei Esrei with Kavanah, no rushing, with the minyan, v'chulu and v'chulu. He says in Otet like this: Av api she'en midat HaKadosh Baruch Hu ki midat basar v'dam litcharet al devarim shenigzeru. Even though the attribute of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not like the attribute of flesh and blood to regret on their decrees, whichever they made out to be, mikol makom, nevertheless, b'koicho shel hatefila hanemeret b'kavanah l'shanot hagizerot, rabotai. Nevertheless, with the strength, with the power of the tefillah that is said with kavanah, it is able to change the decrees. She'al yidei tefillah ha'adam mishaneh u'mitkarev l'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabotai, because through tefillah a person changes and he becomes closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mitkadesh u'mit'aleh, rabotai. He sanctifies and he becomes higher. Lefanav, before him, v'sam miftacho b'Hashem, rabotai, and he puts his trust in Hashem. Ve'az ha'mazal mishaneh, rabotai, even though there could be a decree chas v'shalom, but if a person davens with kavanah, then he's able to change his mazal. Ve'az ha'mazal mishaneh, and then the mazal changes. Ki lo al adam kazeh nigzerah ha'gizerah, because not on such a person that davens with kavanah that this decree was decreed upon. Ubefrat, rabotai, and especially shakadosh baruch hu mit'avel tefilatan shal Yisrael. Hashem, He desires our tefillah, rabotai. When we walk into a shul, we have this thing of check in, check out. You understand? Punch in, punch out. Like at work, Rahman Sallallahu Leinu. A person wants to come to shul with kavanah, with excitement, with besimcha. Not chas v'shalom come all tired, all dead. You know, just you woke up from the morning. Rabotai, like this, you could go to your weddings and bar mitzvahs. When you come to do mitzvot, you learn Torah, you pray tefillah. Everything should be done besimcha. Why? Only parties? People wait a whole year just for 1 week of vacation, wherever they're going to go, correct? Rabotai, but every night when you go to sleep, you should be excited to wake up the next morning just to be able to serve Hashem. You don't have to wait a whole year. Why you have to wait a whole year? So he says, Rabotai, ubefrash HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitaveh l'tefillah shel Yisrael, because especially HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He desires the prayers of the Jewish people. Ve'od, and furthermore, ki ikar tefillah ena rak kedei shitbareh b'sichlo ki hu b'chol davar b'reshut Hashem yitbarach. Rabotai, listen to this carefully. He says, you know the whole purpose of saying Shomrei Esrei? To come to recognize in your mind that everything that you have is in possession of Kadosh Baruch Hu. Everything you need is in the hands of Hashem. So when you're davening, what are you doing? You need money, you need hatzlach, you need forgiveness, you need health, you want to praise Hashem. Everything is in the Shomrei Esrei. So why are you trying to skip on the one thing that's going to give you life? I'll give you a small secret. People daven 2-3 minutes Shomrei Esrei, then they wait by the doctors 2-3 hours. Rabotai, increase your Shomrei Esrei, you won't wait by the doctor. I don't chap. You'll have more time to do whatever you want to do. Rabbi Isai, he says, "V'az yagiu elav hayira v'hakna'ah." When you down to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rabotai, you realize that everything is in Hashem's hand. Every single penny, every single dollar, a hair won't fall out of you unless Hashem decrees. Rabotai, when you understand this is why you down Shomrei Esrei, because you really depend on Him. V'az yagiu elav hayira v'hakna'ah. Only then is it going to come to you the fear and being submissive to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A person has to be able to give in. He has to stop being a balgaiva. Yeah, that I did everything myself, Rabotai. You didn't do anything. Not you, somebody else will do it. I guarantee you, Rabotai. One guy said, Lenin was here, he died. Stalin was here, he died. Obama was here, he left. Rabotai, the world will continue running without you, Rabotai. Believe me, it will continue. Don't think that you run the world. We're nobody, Rabotai. We're only messengers over here. It's fit, it's proper for a person to increase in his Shomrei Esrei before Kadosh Baruch Hu. When you pray to Hashem, not only for Ponash, not only for health, but you should pray to Kadosh Baruch Hu that He should strengthen you in having fear of Him, Rabotai. We don't have fear, unfortunately, to Rabotai. We don't have it. And also with fear of sin. How many of us are afraid to do sin, Rabotai? Not many, Rabotai. I don't want to start going into the halachot and the Shulchan Aruch, but not many of us have this, Rabotai. Ot Yud. Amr b'Bishut Tanchuma Parshat Vayera. Amr lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. Rabotai, listen carefully to this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to the Jewish people, Havu zihirin b'tefillah, be careful in Shomrei Esrei. She'en lecha mida acheret yafa himena. You don't have any other mida, any other attribute that is better than tefillah. Va'afilu ein adam kedai lanod letifilato. Ulasot chesed imo, even if you don't have a person that is worthy that his prayers should be answered, and that Hashem should do kindness with him, Rabotai said this. Kivin shemitpala, when a person davens, since he davens, umarbe betachanunim, and he increases in his prayers. Look what Hashem says. Ani oseh chesed imo, I will do kindness with him. It is not coming to you. You don't deserve what you did. But you daven to me, I'll give it to you even though you are undeserving. This is what prayer can do, Rabotai. Ve'amru od b'mishra Rabba Pasha ve'etchanan. En HaKadosh Baruch Hu posel tefilat kol b'riyah. Hashem does not disqualify anybody's tefillah, Rabotai. Any prayer that goes up to God, it goes up to Hashem, Rabotai. Not one prayer goes back from Hashem. Nothing gets disqualified. V'gedola tefillah, you tell me kol ha-karbanot. Greater is davening Shom Resim than all the sacrifices. V'yesh l'istadam me'od lechaven b'tifilaton, Rabotai. We should try to have a lot of kavanah to daven in our, when we're davening our Shom Resim, Rabotai. That's why it is very, very proper. I don't want to get into halachot of chazanim right now. It's very proper to have a chazan, Yireh Shamayim, he knows how to pronounce things out loud. B'kavanah bitlahavut. What happened? What happened, Rabotai? That's it. 35 minutes you down, beseder. Add 5 more minutes, add 10 more minutes, you'll have a normal davening. You'll see. 45 minutes not going to change. Anyway, you're making coffee for another 10 minutes. Rabotai, he says, v'yesh l'shtadel me'od l'chaven b'tifilatenu. A person try very much to have kavanah in his prayer. Ulitpalel ota bizmanam, Rabotai. Try to pray the tefillah in its time. She'avodet ha-tefillah michaperet kol minei chataim, Rabotai. When you pray tefillah with kavanah, it atones for different types of sins. Va'afilu lepasha'im she'en lahem kapara b'korban. Even those people that were negligent, that they don't have kapara with the korban, Hashem says, I will be able to forgive them if they're able to daven to me with kavanah. V'hatifil hi achad mehadvarim sha'olam omed alav. Prayer is one of the things that the world stands on. V'gedol hatifil yuter mim'asim tovim. Greater is prayer more than good deeds. V'chol zman she'yisrael mitchanasim bebetei kensiot b'betei medrashot v'omrim omeni hishmei rabba mevareh b'chol kocham. When the Jewish people, they enter into the Batei Kanisiot and the Batei Midrashot, and they say Omeni Hishmei Rabba with all their strength, like it's brought down in Siman Nunvav, in Halach Aleph, like we spoke about it this morning. A person, you have to say Omeni Hishmei Rabba Rabotai. Look what he says. HaKadosh Baruch Hu koreh gizerot raot al Am Yisrael. When do we need it now more than ever, Rabotai? Hashem is going to rip up, tear up, decrease on the Jewish people, Rabotai. The Gemara says on an individual, if he says it b'chol kocho in the amendments, they say 70 years, Rabotai. If a person was decreed chas shalom bad life lo in 70 years, chas shalom lo rahman. If a person says omen yehei shmei rab with all his strength, not making fun of, no, be'emet, Rabotai. Can you imagine? He's able to turn the judgment around, Rabotai. We need it now more than ever. The reason why we had the zechut, the merit to come out of Egypt, was only because our prayers and our screaming to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Great is the power of tefillah. It's able to change bad decrees. This is beautiful, Rabotai. Guys, I want to tell you something. Yaakov also brings this down, Rabotai. Whenever you do any mitzvah, Rabotai, remember, up until you do that mitzvah, a lot of times we do averus. You could speak Lashon Hara, you could curse, you could get angry, you could forget to say bracha achrona, you do averus. Rabotai, always remember, whenever you do any mitzvah, try to do teshuvah right before that mitzvah. Or say and say L'Shem that you're doing it specifically for Hashem. Rabotai, however, he says, a person needs to turn back into teshuvah in order for his prayer to be accepted. Anybody who prays with proper intention and with fear, Rabotai, he's going to be able to have the zechut to have olam haba. I want to just tell like this, Rabotai. We'll see this halachah on the Shulchan Aruch later on, that a person has to dive in a way like he's a beggar, chas v'shalom, right? Like in a crying way, but a person cannot cry. So the Shulchan Aruch is going to say you should try to go ahead and make your voice like crying. You should try to awaken the emotions within you. Even though you don't want to cry, but you should try to awaken it within you. Rabbi say, Od Yud Aleph, Harotzeh shetifilato titkabel. If a person wants that his prayer should be accepted, yakpid litpal b'beit knesset. You should be makbid, you should be particular by davening in a shul. V'ishtadel la'asok b'Torah. You should try to also be oisik b'Torah. She'chol ha'potech piv b'Torah, Rabotai. Anybody who opens his mouth in Torah, u'b'tefillah, and also in prayer, na'asim lo kol chafatzav. They do everything for you, whatever you need, they're going to take care of, Rabotai. V'chen kol ha'ma'arich b'tefilato en tefilato chozet rekam. Anybody who lengthens in their tefillah, in their prayer, his tefillah is not going to return back empty-handed. U'me'arechin yamav u'shonotav, Rabotai, they give you long life. Mida kedeged mida, you down a little bit longer. Hashem says, I'm going to repay you, don't worry. I'll give you a longer life. What's the problem? So you can continue davening to me. Afilu enhu hagun, even though he's not fit, he's not proper, Rabotai, but the fact that you're doing it for Hashem, Hashem says, I have to give it back. V'chol amarbeh b'tefillah, anybody who increases in davening, na'aneh, he will be answered. V'im itpeh v'lo na'aneh, what happens if a person davening and he wasn't answered? Yachzor v'itpalel, go back and daven. If anybody, his mind is very low and he puts himself like an animal, meaning if a person is broken, when you're davening Shemon Esrei, the tefillah is not going to be discussed in the eyes of Hashem. When a person has a great pain, he should inform many people, and the masses, they're going to pray for him in order for him to become better. If you're not going to be answered, go to a rabbi, a chacham, that he holds a yeshiva that they should daven for him. If a person, he prays on the request for his friend, something his friend needs, and he prays for it, and he also needs it, you'll be answered first. Your friend needs to get married, and you need to get married. You down for your friend to get married, you'll get married first, Rabotai. Same thing with the lottery. I know a lot of people playing the lottery. Pray for your friend to win the lottery. Bezrat Hashem, that's the chud, you have to win the lottery. Rabotai, he says, somebody who loves his neighbors. And somebody that brings close his relatives. Somebody that marries his sister's daughter, Rabotai. And somebody who gives a seller, it was a coin back then, somebody who gives them money to a poor person in time of great need, you should know, Tefilato mitkabelet. Your tefillah is going to be accepted. When you daven Shemon Esrei, you should not depend on your own good deeds. That you daven good with kavanah. That you should not do, Rabotai. You smoke al hasdei Hashem itbarach, but rather you have to depend on Hashem's kindness. What do we have over here? Rabotai, he says, Rabotai. Listen to this carefully, Rabotai, how important this is. We do this every single day. 3 reasons why your tefillah is going to be accepted. Guys, 1 more minute, I know I'm late. Rabotai, number 1. Lihiyod mavir al midotav va'aluv. Rabotai, overgo what people do wrong to you. Big deal, people wronged you. Who cares what they do to you, Rabotai? Overlook what people do to you. On the contrary, the more you get embarrassed, the bigger zechut you have in this world, Rabotai. It takes out it erases your avonot, Rabotai. You have no idea. I pray for this, Rabotai. I'm not even exaggerating. Big Gedom used to dress in a way. Again, it's a whole shot if you're allowed to do it, but they used to do it. Why should people should embarrass them? You know why? What 100 Yom Kippurs cannot do, when a person embarrasses you, that takes care of the job, Rabotai. Don't get offended when somebody says something. You're right. I saw somebody say, why did I live a long life? Because I never argued. You're always right, Tzaddik. You're always right. Don't worry. I have nothing against you, Rabotai. Shanit, Rabotai. Second, Rabotai. Rabotai, he says over here, when you have a tava, when you want to do something, try to break your desire for Kadosh Baruch Hu. I want to watch TV. I want to play basketball. I'm saying, I want to go with this girl. I want to not be Shom Negiah. Break yourself. For you, I'm doing it. Rabotai, these things are going to make you feel accepted. Last but not least, Rabotai, third one, increase praying Shemon Esrei. V'iten tzedakah, give tzedakah. Kidei she'tefilато tiheh nishmat, in order for your prayer to be heard. V'zaher b'lashonim ledaber lashon hara. Be careful from speaking lashon hara. V'dverei sheker, and speaking lies. V'divrei nevilah, and speaking foul language. She'az tefilато titkabel. Then your prayer is going to be accepted, Rabotai. One last important point. When you daven, don't forget the most important thing in your life, Rabotai. Yesh laharbot b'tefilah gam al chinuch habanim. Rabotai, increase praying for your children, Rabotai. She is cool li Rav Chaim Igal Torah, that they have zuchut, have fear of God, and they're going to be able to learn Torah. Certain Sidurim, the papers are published on Shabbat. Certain Sidurim, the papers are not published on Shabbat. Try to buy Sidurim that way the people didn't, pass the papers on Shabbat, then you know your tefillah is going to be heard. Baruch Adonai Olam, Amen, Amen, Rav Chaim Igal. Amen.